Well, where's the year gone? It's already week 43 of the golfing calendar. Nearly time to start thinking about Christmas. And you won't do better than Ping. They'll help you play your best. Contact your local golf shop or professional to arrange a Ping Club fitting. And the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices and a perfect place for Chrissy shopping. Now, former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn and 15-year Tour pro Mark Allen. This is the number one Australian golf podcast, Talk Birdie To Me.
Well, Nick, this is the most important week on the golfing calendar because on Friday it is time for the mighty Gorilla Ladders Box Hill Pro-Am, where you and I both put the spikes on and try to relive. Now, I've been practicing hard.
Have you?
I've been grinding, in fact. Got the new clubs, got the new swing. A lot of the master classes you've presented throughout the year will be coming to fore. Mm-hmm. And I'm predicting I shoot a 62 and win by 5 shots.
What's the par again?
Par 70.
Okay.
62, win by 5, and you reckon you'll place there at the Box Hill Pro-Am?
My preparation hasn't been as good as yours because about 2 weeks ago I did my back in.
Yes.
And I haven't hit a ball until yesterday. So,
Righto.
Yeah, so I'm going to see how we go.
Righto. Well, I'm thinking about...
Looking forward to it, though.
I'm so confident. I'm thinking about busting out the old tour bag.
Ooh.
And putting it on an
buggy.
electric buggy.
Oh.
An electric buggy. So I do this.
Okay.
I do this every year, one way or another. But if you are willing to have the remote control in your hand and caddy on Friday morning at the Gorilla Ladders Mighty Box Hill Pro-Am,
You're taking requests.
then just send your resume through and I'll see what I'll see what we can do. I'll see what we can do.
I wonder if Drew Doubleland might make an appearance. What do you think? Actually,
he might.
I'm going the half set or the three-quarter set. So
Yeah, I love that.
A little pencil bag, and we'll see what happens. Old school.
But you're a freak with the half set. You're a freak. Last time I saw you with the half set.
I will take the laser, though.
Yeah, do
because
that.
I've never played Box Hill.
No, you believe me. You need a laser, and you need to know where the creeks are as well.
Oh, there's creeks?
And you can't laser the creeks.
Oh, no. I hope my playing partners know where they're going.
No, the golf course is looking an absolute picture, and for the first time in a long time, it's not going to rain. It's been washed out the last 2 times it was played. It's just ridiculous.
I remember last year, I made an appearance at the dinner. So, yes, looking forward to it. Okay.
Right. Normally, when a pro wins, an Australian professional, you've got a bottle of wine in here. But unfortunately, we don't have a pro winner this week. But what we do have is a Jasper Stubbs winning the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. And I have brought in a can of 7-Up that I'm going to share with you. So let's... There we go.
Oh, lovely.
So cheers to Jasper Stubbs.
Beautiful.
Good on you, buddy.
All right.
And that is a huge win at Royal Melbourne. I watched a lot of it on the telly. I ended up going down there and followed a kid I've been helping, Max Charles, just watched him the last 4 holes. It was as good a tournament to watch on the telly as anything I've seen all year.
It was brilliant. I knew it was on, but I got out there on the Saturday, which is their 3rd round, for a couple of hours, and it was blowing.
Oh.
I mean, it was blowing. There was gusts, and I first got out and I thought, wow, Royal Melbourne, for starters, I mean, looking an absolute treat. Sandbelt golf, we've got all these young amateur kids playing here. I'm thinking, I don't think anyone's going to break par today.
They're not going to. I was certain.
Yes.
I was certain. I played at Kingston Heath in the morning in the wind.
Did you?
And I shot 79, and I wasn't that disappointed with my 79.
Par was 80, maybe.
And I know the greens at Royal Melbourne are much harder than the greens at Kingston Heath. And I thought, well, no one's broken par today.
No. And then when I saw on the leaderboard, this kid, Samson Zheng, was 7 under through 13 or 14. I thought, no, that's got to be 7 over.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong. But no, word was spreading around the golf course, and he ended up shooting a new composite amateur course record, 6 under 65.
65.
In those conditions.
Now, I've seen a lot of good rounds in Australian golf. Now, when anyone else shot his 60, the day before, a kid from New Zealand, Richard Lee, shot a 61. And the course was absolutely still, and the greens were very, very soft. I put to you that Samson's 65 was a couple of shots better than Ernie Els' 60.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not blown. I'm going to blow my own horn here. I shot 63 at the Heineken Classic playing with Ernie.
Yeah.
And it was a bit windy, but Samson's 65 was much better than what I did.
You shot 63 on the composite?
Yeah, 8 under.
Jeez, well done.
In the third round. Had the lead going into the final round, and unfortunately, as we saw, a playoff, by the way. I went up there. I went up that 18th hole that day 4 times.
Wow.
And Craig Parry got me.
Yeah, 63 is good. You got me. My best in the composite, with a Persimmon driver, mind you, was 66 in the second round of the Johnny Walker Classic.
Well, I put that to you. I think that's better than Samson's 65. It was a Persimmon driver.
Can I just tell you, while we're reminiscing, I shot 70 in the first round, 66 in the second round. Robert Ellerby shot 68, 66. And I got to see him play in the wind on the Saturday. We were paired in the last group. And he shot 68, and it's like the wind did not affect his ball. And that's what it looked like with Samson. It just, the shots that I saw, and on Twitter, the Asia Pacific Twitter page put out his round in, 2 minutes. I mean, it did look like he missed a shot. The only shot he did miss is when he didn't get a putt up to it's the third west, I don't know which. Okay. Third west, and then he didn't get the putt up and rolled back into the dip, and then he held the next one, the next putt.
Goodness.
For par. So it was a blessed round, and that sort of stuff has to happen.
Yeah. And he thanked his caddy, which was great. Actually, a Royal Melbourne and Cathedral member, Zed Stewart, who's a member there, and she has a very good game herself. So she was offering some great advice. I actually saw her on the tee before they teed off in the fourth round, and she said, "Any advice?" I said, "No, just keep doing whatever you're doing. Doing a great job." But it came right the way down to the wire. Again, I didn't catch the final. Did you watch the last few holes out on the course? Tell me what zhang on 17 with Zhang, because he basically had the tournament in the palm of his hands, right?
Well, Samson was leaking oil.
Oh, okay.
Samson was leaking oil, and it looked like if you could get in at even par...
And Jasper was making a run. He had a really good back nine, didn't he?
Jasper shot 4 under, I think, his last 13 holes.
Oh, wow.
So superb golf under pressure when a spot at Augusta's up for grabs in the British Open at Royal Troon. So an amazing last 12, 13 holes. But when they were all on 17, Max Charles was making a run. And, of course...
He's the guy you've been helping, correct?
I don't do anything with technique with him at all. Mm-hmm. All I do is I help him train. Brilliant. So for instance, I make him, while I watch him, he's got a hole 10 6-footers straight, 10 6-footers in a row right to left, 10 6-footers in a row left to right. They all have to go in.
Wow.
And then we move on.
You're a hard taskmaster.
Well, we try. And then once we're finished with that, we throw a bunch of balls in a bunker, and he's just got to keep on going until he holes one. Just a really tough shot. But just to get that, just keep on going until you hole one. And then I make them really, really easy up and downs, and I hold his putter, and he gets a couple of wedges, and I just keep on putting the ball, and I make them reasonably easy. Like, 6 out of 10 up and downs, nothing hard. Yep. And he's got to get 10 in a row of them.
Right.
And training. You get to 7, 8, and 9. So basically, all I'm doing really is
simulating pressure for him.
Simulating pressure. So it's a bit like a boxer. You can hit the big bag and the pads, but sometimes you got to spar with somebody, and that's all I've been doing.
Brilliant.
And that's all. And I love doing it too. It was great.
Yeah, I only saw him make a couple of swings out on the golf course because he was playing in Stubbs in the final group. I went out there early Sunday. I didn't get out for the final few holes as you did, but I saw him tee off 10 west, and it was playing back into the wind. He hit this long iron, and I stood there in just disbelief. Yeah. I've gone, oh my gosh, this thing has taken off like a rocket. The bunker was never even in play, and I'm thinking I'd be lucky to get driver into the bunker today. Yeah. And he just flew it with a long iron.
Well, look, he's a family friend. The only reason I'm helping is because he's a good kid. I'll only help good kids. If I don't like you, I'm not helping you. It's as simple as that. Max Charles is a rip-roaring kid. I did notice he was the only one getting it up around 188 miles per hour ball speed. He was doing that towards the end as well. But back to where we started, 17 was a pivotal hole. Mm-hmm. Ding and Jasper Stubbs both hit good drives down 17, which is a par 5, makeables downwind, and so did
Samson.
Charles was in that group as well. Samson was in the group behind.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Ding and Stubbs, they just hit huge pulls. Like one of them was in the bunker on the first.
Oh,
west.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, and Ding was way left in another bunker. Then Max has got this shot here to bomb. That was one of the 188 mile per hour ball speeds. So I noticed when I got home and watched it again. Anyway, he was in between clubs, and he's gone up a club. He told me afterwards.
He tried to hit the harder one?
No, tried to hit a softer one.
Okay.
Sorry, up the club. I meant from
Yep.
5 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
He went up. It landed 2 feet on the front of the green and went all the way over the back.
Gone.
And the pin was on the front.
Well, when the greens are like,
That's right.
I mean,
and he ended up 3-putting. If he hits the 5, I guarantee it lands 15 foot short of the green or 20 foot short of the green, gets a softer bounce.
Wow.
He would have had a 6-footer for eagle,
So
and he would have gone to the lead.
So the positive there is he hit a really good shot.
That's exactly
Okay,
right.
love it.
And ripped one off 18 as well, like they all did. And then Sampson came along, got up and down from the other group. So he got up and down for par from the right-hand trap.
On 18. I heard he
On
bogeyed.
18.
I heard he bogeyed the par 5 17th
Oh, he was making a meal of it.
after he had an iron in for 2. So
Well, he was out the right. He 3-putted in the end
okay.
for his 6
Wow.
off the tee. So the playoff was unbelievable. The playoff was outrageous, in fact. So Stubbs hit 2 of the best shots you've ever seen. Ding hit 2 of the best shots you've ever seen. Both putts went beyond the pin, up the back. So, Ding's was pin high right.
right, okay.
So he had a bit of a floater out to the right.
I'd heard no one had even birdied the hole all day.
No one birdied the hole all day. Sampson made the bogey. Then it was up to Stubbs. Stubbs holes this huge curler. Like he was aiming 45 degrees from the hole and just touched it. It went right in the middle. And then Ding, with his dad jumping up and down like he did the whole time, he'd hold it on top of him. So the first 2 birdies of the day, and then Stubbs, he ended up parring it, and Ding made a bogey next time, and he's got a master jacket. And
How good.
how good! It was just incredible. I did know though, because I've been talking to Max Charles, and I think this is fantastic, and well done to Golf Australia and the PGA of Australia.
Go on.
So, you and Porter's love child,
Yes.
Jeffrey
Jeffrey.
Guam. you always
I always laugh at that.
you always laugh at that one, don't you? And a kid called Jack Buchanan,
Yes.
and also
He was
Max Charles.
part of the Eisenhower team
That's
previous
right.
week. Yep.
That's right.
Mhm.
So those 3 boys
Yes.
were offered a spot in the Queensland PGA that you and I will be commentating on this week on Fox and KO as professionals.
Really? They're turning pro.
So they are turning pro. Once upon a time, you had to go, you had to do your time, or you had to, do something, go to a tour school. But these days, it's a little bit different. So Jack, Max, and Jeffrey all playing this week the Queensland PGA as professionals, and it's like a little head start.
That is. They got a good field in Queensland because got John Sendon playing.
Sendo's playing.
Sendo.
Yeah.
David Micheluzzi.
Micheluzzi's
He's playing.
playing.
Dimi Papadakis is playing.
That's right.
It's going to be a very strong field.
It's an amazing field, to tell you the truth. So it's going to be great fun commentating, but it'll be even more fun if some of these boys can get moving first up as a professional. Jeffrey Guam, we know how good he is up there on those Queensland courses. Max and Buchanan, I mean, they're very, very good players.
So basically, they're getting invites into the Queensland PGA, which, to their credit, they're some of the best amateurs in the world. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Another guy who's getting an invite later on in the year at the Australian Open, which I think is causing a bit of contention.
Yes,
Do you know the name Michael Block?
Yeah, well, he played pretty well in the was it the PGA?
PGA
he
Championship, yeah. He
played
ended up
really
finishing tied 15th or something like that. But he had a hole-in-one playing with Rory, and the whole place went nuts.
It was amazing.
And he's had his sort of 15 minutes of fame a little bit after that, where he got invited to play Colonial the week after, or a couple of weeks after. He shot 81 first round or something like that, missed the cut by a mile, finished last. And then Canadian Open, again, he got another invite, shot loads there, missed the cut.
Yeah.
And now Golf Australia has given him an invite into the Australian Open.
Yeah, and look, the way he got into that USPGA, he's a good club pro, club pro player, and a good mini tour player.
Won the Southwest section, things like that.
Yeah, so he did. He's been a good player in his day. I don't think he's getting paid appearance fee. That's my best guess.
Okay.
I would imagine a family holiday has probably been put on the table for him.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
And that's okay. What I don't want, Nick, let's be blunt, I don't want to see Michael playing with Adam Scott and Cameron Smith in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, totally.
We can put Michael somewhere else, and he can be a great footnote in the tournament, and hopefully he makes the cut. But we can't put him in a marquee group.
No, I don't think so. I was very surprised when I saw the invite go out to him. And look, the tournament, they have their list of people they want to invite. Is he going to attract attention? I think he'll be a little sideshow, which is fine. Will he win the golf tournament? No, he won't.
No.
Will he make the cut? I'd say probably not, because he's never played the Australian or the Lakes Golf Club.
I'll give you 3-1 that he makes the cut.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So whether they get the value out of it, I don't know. I would have loved to have seen an invite to go to someone, I mean, if you're going to go down that route, it'd be fun to have like a Ricky Ponting or a Greg Blewett play in the event or something like that. We're talking about the cricketers or people that they do that in the States, where they have Steph Curry, or they had Lexi Thompson play, but obviously we've got the women playing and the men playing in the Australian Open at the end of the year, so it's a bit of a weird one for me.
Personally, it's just my preference as a lover of golf. I would like to see the amateur champion, that big South African kid, come down instead, or even was it Dunlop? Who won the US Amateur Championship. I would rather see those types brought down. So elite amateur future, hopefully, stars of the game come down and play our golf courses. We can say, hey, that big guy, he came and played at the Aussie one year, and have those pictures up on the walls. When you go to golf clubs, and some of them are great, and some of them who have been lucky enough to have big tournaments, there is history dripping off the walls. You see these old players who came. There's an opportunity for the Australian and the Lakes to say, okay, this big South African kid, I forgot his name, so I apologise. He may well go on to win 4 majors. Who knows? Who knows? But here he was playing the Australian, and here he was playing the Lakes. And those pictures just go up on the wall. That here's an opportunity. Michael Block coming down.
What is he, 40
47?
Something? Yeah, late 40s.
No good. Have you seen his son, by the way?
No.
His son's got one of the best golf swings I've ever seen. Really? I say that a lot, right?
Is he making your list?
Yeah. He'd make my list for best swings of sons of players who have got an invite to the Australian Open.
Must be a very short list.
He'd make that list, but it's I think he'll be a better player than his dad based on just on his golf swing. Who knows whether he's got the short game or not. Hey, just before we move on, I want to talk about the Asian players and something that I noticed every time they came on the coverage.
With the Asia Pacific Amateur, yes. Yeah.
When Ning is off to Arizona. Sampson's going to Cal. Bintang is somewhere.
Beer.
I guess that'd be like a kid called Foster. Foster's. True. Right here. So Bintang.
Or Cooper's,
Yeah, that's right. Cooper.
True.
Cooper. So Bintang, he's somewhere in America.
Yeah.
I always look at Asian countries and wonder how on earth they're going to compete with us, considering our pedigree. So I understand Japan. They've had years and years and years of wonderful role models showing Japanese young players how to go. I can't imagine that in China. They just haven't.
Yeah,
they don't have that. But what they do have is the smarts to get their players to the US college system.
Correct.
And that is a big winner. Now, I want to ask you, we have undoubtedly great systems here, but I think the US college system is the answer for so many. And let me give you the example. Max Charles. Max Charles, when he came to me interested in going to America, he was a very good player. He was in the state junior team at Victoria. Even so, I think he was playing number 6 or 7 at the Kingston Heath Pennant team. So he wasn't that good.
So he had a better swing than Scotty Scheffler.
That's right. He was one of those. He was one of those.
Okay.
As you've now seen.
Yes.
As you've now seen. Even though, he had a bit of a high swing and he was hitting big cuts back when he left.
Okay.
Anyway, we couldn't get him into Texas Tech, where Ludwig at Aberg plays. And fair enough, too, because he just wasn't in Ludwig's range. He wasn't even close. But we did get him to Midland Junior College. He played well enough to where Boise State came hunting for him, and he ended up off his own bat playing at Boise State, and he played with a very, very good player from Sweden who was about number 4, 35, 5th amateur, best player in the world. So really good, a good player.
Yep.
He ended up winning 3 collegiate events.
Wow. That's no small feat.
That's no small feat. So he went from being an 18-year-old who was the last man in the Victorian junior team, playing number 6 or 7 at the Kingston Heath Pennant team, to playing a couple of years in a junior college, and then got to a point where he's come home and he's missed a spot in the Masters and a Troon Open by one shot.
Incredible.
So, without doubt, the college system is big.
It's a great pathway for sure. I mean, I saw it when I was living in the US at Isleworth, where they would have the Isleworth Invitational. I might have mentioned this before, the Isleworth Collegiate Invitational.
Yeah.
And whoever won that, you knew in a few years' time they're going to be stars on tour. Spieth played it, Morikawa, those guys. But I was just thinking there are so many colleges in the US. There's something like... division. So they have 3 divisions plus other divisions after that. And there's probably, 300 colleges in each division.
Yes.
So there is so much opportunity to go there.
Yeah.
And the programs have just gotten better and better and better over the last 10, 20 years. Mainly, I think they've had a little bit of a look down here at what we're doing, how we're running our programs.
No doubt.
I used to go and do workshops when I was living there because they were curious to know, how I thought about it from an Australian perspective and what I'd seen growing up and what our elite players were doing. So they were picking our brains along the way. But the other good thing is, the kids get an education at the same time. You get a degree, and it's always nice to have a plan B because, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but for a lot of players out there, a lot of you aren't going to make it.
Yeah, that's right. So, you didn't have a plan B, or you sort of did with because you did your time.
I did my traineeship.
That's right.
I was going to go back to being a teaching pro.
That's right. I didn't have a plan B. No. I wasn't good enough to have a plan B, and many aren't. So the college system is very good for that as well.
For sure.
But I'll tell you, if you are a young man and you're not getting a gig at Golf Australia, and that's hard. It's hard to get a gig at Golf Australia. You got to be a bloody good player.
You got to be elite.
I'm talking about the boys and the girls. If you've just missed out, if you're not exploring a college degree. And mind you, it's 40,000 US. If you get a full ride at Texas Tech, it's 40 or 50,000 US a year.
Yep.
Because it's food, it's your board, it's tuition, it's the books, it's the whole lot. Plus these days you get a bit of cash as well. You don't have to do the dodgies on the side like I used to.
Oh yeah, of course. The new system now.
The new system. So if you're any good, you'll get paid as well. So if you're not looking into it. Then you're missing out on what happened to Max Charles. You're missing out on kind of what happened to me. I wasn't much good, but after 2.5 years of playing at Texas Tech, I came back and I was, I had the lowest handicap in Australia, and I was asked to play in a 2-man Australian team, and they were asking me who I wanted to play with. Yeah. So I came back and I was a pretty strong player.
So here's this is probably a naive question from my perspective because I haven't lived in Australia for that much longer because I've been living in the US. But you helped Max Charles. So if all these kids out there are thinking about it, how do they go about the process, do you think? I mean, who do they ask?
Well, you got to know somebody. So I'm still in touch with everything. I know the short game coach at Texas Tech. Yeah. He's the guy who helped my short game. I went over there with a short game that was rubbish. And Steve Long turned everything around for me.
Turned you into the best bunker player in the world.
Greatest bunker player. Well, I was the best bunker player on the way over there.
You already
It was just chipping and wedges and chipping and putting. He was very, very good. Hey, we can't go on about this forever, but there was a big live announcement that came out during the week, and you are all over it because they've got a new qualifying system. They've got 3 places up for grabs.
Well, for our Australian players, they do. Yeah. So, for everyone.
For everyone.
But as far as our players have an opportunity to go to this thing. It's called the Live qualifying event. It's in Abu Dhabi from December 8 to 10. It's going to be 72 holes of stroke play, which is unusual for them. It's usually 54, but we're going 72 for the qualifying.
It's still 3 days. Yeah. They're still wrapping it up in 3 days.
It actually is still 3 days, yeah. A weird system, and I won't bore you with the way that you get in, but there are first round buys. So there's I don't actually know how many people tee it up in the first round.
So basically, if you've won a major, if you've been a top 150 or thereabouts player in the world recently, if you've been a President's Cup or a Ryder Cup player, you get straight to round 2.
Yeah, exactly. The funny thing is that they don't actually mention official world golf rankings. They mention something else, the universal golf rankings, which I've never heard of.
Never heard of it before.
It turns out on that, Bryson DeChambeau's in the 30s or something like that. So
he's down the top 100.
Yeah.
But in the universal world rankings.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it. I'll have to look further into that.
That's good. I'm glad they've done something.
Yeah. But anyway, so the way it's going to be, top 20 from the first round advance to round 2. Yeah. Reset the scores, top 20 from all that advance to the final 2 days. So only 20 players playing 36 holes in one day.
And top three gets
Three
a spot.
spots get a spot on live, and the other person who's already got a spot on live is Andy Ogletree. He won the international series on the Asian Tour.
Okay, so he's in.
Yep. So there's, from an Australian perspective, you've got the top three from the top five of the Challenger PGA Tour of Australasia as of November 20 this year.
Wow.
So I was looking at the order of merit
So
earlier.
who's in our top five at the moment?
Lachlan Barker, Austin Batista.
But now what do you
He's
think?
made for live, this guy.
He is made for live.
After we saw the celebrations.
Well, he does have ice in his veins, Nick. I don't know whether you caught that or not.
I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that one again. Benny Eccles is third, Simon Hawke's fourth, Daniel Gale fifth, etc., etc.
Who's 6 and 7?
Andrew
Close?
Campbell, who's been playing really well, and Josh Greer, your draft pick.
Well, don't go, Josh. Don't go.
Well, the question is, if you go, is there any ramifications here?
Well,
who knows?
That's a really good question because we know that
That's for the people upstairs, isn't it?
if you played a live tournament, in the agreement to agree, it was suggested that the players group who sit at the top would be evaluating whether they'd let you back in or not.
Yeah.
So if you actually go to a tour school of live, is there a penalty?
That's a great question.
Well, I don't know.
I guess the answers will be forthcoming, but maybe it's all part of this new PIF deal, which we don't know how that's all going to work out. Whether that happens, I don't know. But
I'm
anyway,
writing it down. That's my homework. I'll find out whether there'll be a penalty and I'll bring it to you next week.
So there is a Q school in early December in Abu Dhabi, and we will see who's going to live next year.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to go get you a 7-Up? It's good stuff.
It's not. I haven't had one in a while. It's quite sweet, I must say.
All right. That's 9 holes. I'll see you on the 10th tee.
Beautiful.
Like the podcast? Oh, maybe tell a friend. Drop them a text or share it on your socials. This is Talk Birdie To Me with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Hey, a little birdie told me that you were in Fiji last week. Were you on holidays? What were you doing?
No, I was working. Mark. The BMW Golf Cup National Final for Australia and New Zealand were on.
Wow.
Yeah, it's over in Fiji, and I was the MC for a couple of days, which was a
good
lot
for
of
you.
fun. Didn't play any golf because my back was too sore, but hosted the welcome function and the awards dinner, and it was a great time. I went out and saw the Natandola Golf Club.
What's it like? I've never been there.
With Wolfgang Buchel, who's the CEO from BMW here in Australia. Yeah. We had a great time. It was blowing. You talk about blowing at Royal Melbourne on the weekend. It was pumping out at this golf course. And but there were some good scores. They had the men's A grade, B grade and all that. On the windy course, 36 points won.
Yeah.
On the other one, which wasn't so windy, 51 points. 51 points. You had to have an official GA handicap, so it was all above board, and they're going to the World Final in South Africa in March next year. So anyway, that was what I did. Now,
good for you.
I believe you're doing something tonight. You're doing MC in Huntingdale, is that correct?
Yes, well, it is a Tuesday when we're recording, and today is the very last day Huntingdale Golf Club will be played in its current form. So it gets ripped up tomorrow, so Wednesday. It gets ripped up Wednesday.
A sad affair for you, or are you looking forward to it?
Well, now that's an interesting question because I spent 40 years at Huntingdale, 30 years as a member, but 10 years beforehand running around all over the joint with following mum and dad, just with one club. We used to run around with one club. So I have a love and an affinity for Huntingdale Golf Club. I love the Australian Masters. It was what, in the end, it was the most exciting tournament. The Australian Open was always the best tournament, but the Masters had the biggest crowds and the most excitement around it. When they made the changes to the last 4 holes, that's when things started going pear-shaped. Would you believe before that, Huntingdale Golf Club was in the top 100 golf courses in the world?
Wow.
So the tournament did an awful lot for Huntingdale. And it wasn't a classical golf course, but it had a lot of soul. Anyway, change after change after change at Huntingdale happened. It left it poorer.
Yes.
For many people, but now with Ogilvy, Cocking, and Mead, OCM in charge, and I've seen the master plan, and we'll get them tweeted out if you want to have a look at the new Huntingdale. I'll tweet the master plan
that'd
out.
Be good to see.
It is going to be sensational. In short, they're going to Kingston Heathify the place.
Really?
Yeah. So, and by the way, everyone thinks Huntingdale's on a small block of land, 120 acres. Kingston Heath is on 125 acres.
Really?
That's all.
Okay. Wow, so very comparable.
Yeah, so you know how Kingston Heath, they have double fairways all over the place?
Yep.
They're going to start doing that to Huntingdale. It's going to appear like there's more room.
Similar to, I think they're doing that a bit at Long Island as well, as part of the National Golf Course, where they're actually going to have 3 different routings there, which I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Just on that too, I'm hearing the National is very interested in Peninsula.
Oh, really?
That's what I hear.
Okay, well, I am an ambassador for the National Golf Club. So
can you make a few phone calls and find out whether that is actually taking place? Can we? I know
Peninsula
3AW Breakfast has a rumour file, but maybe Talk Birdie To Me can have a rumour file as well. So I'll put that out there.
Yes.
The rumour that I've heard is that the National is looking at PK.
Okay. Well, PK is Jasper Stubbs' home course too.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
believe.
Yeah, that's right. So think about that. So they'd have 2 courses in Long Island plus the National. They'd have those 6 golf courses.
Ooh, that'd be impressive.
Anyway, even if it's not true, make it happen, everybody, because that would be sensational. Anyway, so I was the MC on Tuesday night at the Huntingdale function.
Oh, well done.
Graham Marsh was there, former winner. Jeff Ogilvy was there, and we had lots of fun.
Lots of good stories, I'm sure.
Now, Dan's not here this week. Have we got an email?
We have an email, and I'm going to read this out to you, given you're the best, bunker player in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
We did have an email come through from Greg from the Central Coast in New South Wales. He says, "Hi, gents. Bunker conditions at my home club are very indifferent and offer no consistency throughout the course. So my question to you is about the swing whilst in the bunker.
Right.
When to be steep or shallow and when to play with an open or standard club face. Is the swing type dependent on sand conditions, that is soft, medium, firm, or does the swing need to change when playing with a bunker with a high lip or no lip at all? Really enjoying the show. Thanks, Greg."
Now, Gregory, it's very simple. If you are able to diagnose the lie, this is the most important part of bunker play. You actually have to know what is possible and what is, more importantly, not possible from every lie that you encounter in a greenside trap and a fairway bunker. So if you've got a good lie and you know from rustling his feet around in the sand that it's quite nice sand, you can almost do anything. You can almost do anything and the ball will come out. But if a little bit of that ball is sitting down, or you're on a downslope, or you're in a rock-hard bunker, that's when the buttons on your shirt need to be past the ball. That's how I teach people how to do it. Now, any of those 3 things, what did I say? So I said the ball sitting down, a downslope, or if it's firm sand, the buttons have to go past the ball to dress, and that's when you pick it up with your hands. And when you pick it up with your hands, that's designed to come down a little sharper on the golf ball. Now, whether you're good enough or not good enough to have an open club face when you do that will determine whether you can get up over those lips or not. They're pretty simple.
True.
But for a lot of people, I want to throw this to you, Nick. For a lot of people, I don't think they should be chipping with their 60-degree club. I don't think they have the skill. But what I would like a lot of them to do is go into their pro shop and say, listen, I'm never going to chip with this club ever, but I don't want to open the club face up. So could you put 2 or 3 extra degrees on my 60 because I don't want to open the club face because I'm not very good at that.
So adding loft to it.
So just add loft to your lob wedge so you actually don't have to open it up. And I've done it for a few people.
Okay.
They never chip with this club ever.
Yep.
But if they're ever in a bunker, it's helped their bunker game.
What about the bounce with it? What would you do with that?
Yeah,
I guess it would add a bit of bounce to it if you add the loft.
That's
correct?
right. So if you add 3 degrees loft to your sand iron, you're going to add 3 degrees bounce as well. So your 10-degree bouncer will become a 13-degree bouncer.
Interesting.
That won't hurt too many people, to tell you the truth, because they're not going to open it up. When you open it up, you put more bounce on the club.
Yes, correct.
Anyway, so there's my advice. It's all to do with the buttons. Bad lies, move your buttons on your shirt past the ball. Good lies, I always have it behind the ball. You can do whatever the hell you like from that.
Great advice.
Okay, hey, now, I think we've got a bit of mail. Let me play it.
You have 1 new voicemail. New message.
Hi guys, Damien from Sandringham. Just was wondering, I was told the other day that the Ambrose game of golf came from the Victor Harbour Golf Club. They were the originators of that particular game. And I was shocked. And that got me thinking, what other games have come from other clubs around the world or country? Thanks, guys. Love your show. Keep it up.
Righto.
Thanks, Damien.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I'm surprised.
I would have thought it might have come from the US somewhere because they've been playing they call it scrambles. Don't they?
Yeah, they've been playing scrambles for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the first Ambrose ever was played up there. Maybe. Don't know.
I don't know.
I know Jensen's, which is a great game.
I love that game.
Yeah, well, that's there was a manager called Gent. What was his first name? Oh, apologies. But he used to be the assistant at Huntingdale. He ended up at Cranbourne, and he invented Jensen. So that's where you all hit off.
Yep.
You pick the best drive, and then you play your own score from the best drive on every hole.
One of the best corporate day games you can have.
Yeah, that is a beauty. Anyway, thanks for that. We much appreciate it.
I don't know of any other games, but in the US they used to play all formats of things called double downs and I don't know,
crazy games.
Ricky Foxes and stuff like that.
Crazy
I can't
games.
remember what it was.
Can I give you an idea? Next time that you're organising a golf corporate day, because I know you do stacks of them, you know how you have to count everybody's drives in an Ambrose?
Oh yes.
So a great way of not having to count the drives is that whosever drive you pick, that person's not allowed to be in the next shot.
Yes, I like that. I think you might have mentioned that before, and that is fascinating.
It's a great way of doing it. So
speeds up the game too.
And it's more thinking. So if you're playing with a group of players, for instance, Nick, and it's a long second shot over water.
Or they've got a wedge.
That's right.
Because I can't hit the next shot.
Then maybe it's best to go back 20 metres and not take your drive.
It's good strategy.
So that you can hit it over the water or hit a wedge or whatever. So it's a really, really good game. And if you are organising an Ambrose event, please just do me this one favour. Gimmies inside a putter length is a must. It quickens up Ambrose events by about 25 minutes.
Totally.
You've noticed I'm big on the gimmies. We somehow get them in
I know.
every single week. It's time for the Ping Global Results.
All right.
So many people just listen to this point. I've been into Acast and they tell me they listen to this and then they turn off.
They turn it off. Well, we should do it last, maybe. That way we get them to listen the whole way.
What have you got for me?
No, there was plenty going on. Obviously, the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Jasper Stubbs had the win. He becomes the fourth Aussie winner of the event, which I didn't know.
So who we got? Madaka,
he actually won at RM at Royal Melbourne in 2014. Curtis Luck in South Korea.
And the kid who won last year?
Harrison Crow.
Yes,
who's now a pro, won in Thailand. So a great result for the young Australian. And as we mentioned, he's going to play the Open and the Masters. So can't wait to see that. Now, on the DP World Tour, this was a fascinating week because it was the last tournament to get your card over there. It was top 116, get their card. I think it went out by one because of someone's exemption or whatever. So, but anyway, at the tournament in Qatar, Doha, Qatar, which brings back some really bad memories for this one because I might have told this story before.
No, tell us. I love these. I love them.
2-shot lead, 2 holes to go, playing with Retief Goosen. I parred the last 2 and I lose by 1.
Oh, Retief. He's gone birdie eagle.
He's gone birdie eagle. Oh. Yeah, he held a 60-footer on the last for eagle and he showed very little emotion, just a little wave and said, thanks for the game, Nick. And I just couldn't believe it.
What a mongrel.
But he used to live at Alworth where we were. And I caught up with him. Obviously we'd have barbecues or whatever. Yeah. On the course, he's the quietest guy ever. But you get him, dinner, barbecue, whatever. He loves his wine, and he'd open up and he'd be brilliant. Very good sense of humour. And I said, "You remember that Qatar Masters?" And he looked at me. He says, "I bloody sure do."
Hey, he got hit by lightning as a kid.
As a kid, apparently. Yeah.
And apparently, he went from an extroverted kid to an introvert. So I love hearing the fact that he, after a glass of red, that he goes back to pre-lightning strike.
He makes a good wine too. It's called the Goose and makes a whole series of wines.
The Goose.
Of course it is.
That's fantastic. Hey, just on that tournament too, Karen Lunn, who is our CEO of the Ladies PGA here in Australia, Alex Knapp parred the last 9 holes in a row to keep his card. And he teared up at the end. I just love that. See,
I saw the interview and it was so good.
Those stories in golf, making cut stories, winning stories, keeping your card stories are some of the great things that happen on all the tours right around the world.
Yeah, it certainly is. Alex Knapp, he ended up finishing 115 on the money list and Ross Fisher was 116 and he made the cut to do it. There was And the other guy the only guy who moved into the top 116 was Scott Jamieson. He played an amazing weekend. I can't remember exactly what he shot, but he went from 119 to about 98 or something like that. So it was a big move. But then you have the flip side. So the guys that...
you've got those.
Alex Levy, I think he missed his card, and he did an interview as well, and he was crying, and it was just incredible. But anyway, at the tournament itself, Finland's Sami Välimäki won in a playoff from Jorge Campillo.
Yep.
This is also the start of the top 10 players on the DP World Tour that are not exempt already get cards for the PGA Tour next season. So all that's happening at the moment. Ryan Fox is going to be one of those. Minwoo Lee's going to be one, obviously. So there's a bit to look out for coming up for the end of the season because they've still got the Nedbank Challenge and then the DP World Tour Championship. But Jason Scrivener had a good finish, tied for 9th.
That was good after last week. The week before he had a shocker in the last round, didn't he?
He did. Shot 66 in the final. No, he didn't shot 66, but he had a good final round. Tied for 16th was New Zealander Daniel Hillier. So good results there. In the Maybank Championship on the LPGA, in Malaysia, Celine Boutier and Ataya Titikal had a 9-hole playoff.
I saw it.
Thank you very much.
I watched it.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was gripping TV.
Was it?
Were
they making
really,
pars?
really good.
I didn't see it. Was it birdies,
They were making
pars?
pars and birdies. It was
really
extreme heat. The caddies were cooked. The crowd in the end was just laughing.
I know what the humidity is like there in Kuala Lumpur, and 27 holes in that is not much fun.
Celine got the chocolates. And it was her 4th win of the year.
Crazy, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Great
she's played
stuff.
some beautiful golf this year.
$450,000 went into her bank account as well. They were playing off for $200,000 basically.
Oh, nice. There you go. On the Australasian front, Lydia Ko tied for 11th. Hannah Green tied for 17th. Sarah Kemp tied for 34th, along with Grace Kim. So they're the best of the Aussies. On the Ladies European Tour, Aramco Team Series presented by PIF in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Team Saganda won the team version, but on the individual, Alison Lee opened up with back-to-back 11 under 61.
She did not.
22 under par after 36 holes. She struggled on the last day and I think shot 66 or something like that. So obviously she ended up winning the individual. But Minjee Lee was there, tied for 6th, and Kirsten Rudgley tied for 35th.
Yep.
LET Access Tour, which is a secondary tour over in Europe for the ladies. It was a great finish for Kelsey Bennett, tied for 4th.
Good.
In the final event of the season, top 6 get their cards. Unfortunately, she didn't get it. She finished 14th on the order of merit, but she does get through to the final stage of Q School, which is very good.
That's big.
Very good. On the home front here, New South Wales Senior Open was on.
Yes, and I saw the winner, and I still can't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either, actually. Adam Henwood, 3-shot win over Scotty Barr.
Yes.
But how's the next 3 guys? Tied for 3rd.
Go on.
Steve Allen, Peter O'Malley, Peter Lonard.
Unbelievable.
How good's the field?
Unbelievable. We used to call Adam Henwood the wood duck, lovingly. And if you saw this guy, he doesn't fit your stereotypical golfer.
No, he doesn't.
No, he does not.
No, he's out there, which is, hey, it takes all types, which is awesome.
Go for your life.
But it was over 54 holes of the Thaguna Country Club and Resort. So well done to Adam on a great win there. That's
fabulous.
a big tournament on the Legends Tour here in Australia.
You betcha. And just one more Canadian. Our girls came 6th in the World Teams Championship in the Amateurs. So well done to our girls.
Fantastic. Well done.
That is a mighty effort.
So that is the Ping Global results for this week. But keep listening because we've got a couple more good things coming up here.
Yeah, don't turn off yet. It's time for this week's Top 5.
Okay, the top 5 is my turn, and because it was quite breezy out at Royal Melbourne at the Asia Pacific Amateur Championships, I thought it got me thinking, who are the best 5 win players that I know of and that I've seen?
Rightio.
So, although one of them I haven't seen, but I know he's obviously a great win player. But number 5, I'm going to go with someone different because just the way he managed his way around the last Players' Championship at Sawgrass, there was one day when it got absolutely pumping out there. The wind was blowing on 17, the island green, the par 3. Everyone was hitting it in the water. And I'm just standing there thinking, chip a little 6-7 iron under the wind. And the only guy to do it was Justin Thomas.
Yes, I saw it.
He's a very good player in the wind, JT. So I'm going to give him number 5 on this particular one.
Controls his spin.
Certainly does. Another great player in the wind, and there's a reason for this, a guy called Sandy Lyle.
Oh, yeah.
And he's my number 4. The weird thing about Sandy is he actually has a high ball flight.
Yeah.
And someone asked him one day, why did he hit the ball so hard? And he says, well, I hit it so pure the wind doesn't touch it.
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. Sandy had a great quote about him as well. He said, Sandy, greatest God-given talent in history. If everyone was playing their best, Sandy would win and I'd come second. And that's from Sevi.
That's incredible. I've never heard that quote before, but that's incredible.
They say his talent-wise is crazy. So here's number 4. Number 3, of course, our own 5 times Mr. Peter Thompson.
Yeah. Can I tell you a story about Peter, please?
Please do.
I was on the 16th hole of Victoria, par 3 up the hill. It was a really windy day in the practice round. I'm playing with a Queenslander that I cannot remember, and Pete was behind the boards just watching, and we were just smashing 3 irons as hard as we could to get it up into the wind. And Pete he said, "Boys, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And he came onto the tee. He said, "Mark, give me your 3 iron." He said, "Boys, you don't have to hit it that hard." And he got his little 3 iron, hadn't made a swing in his little, black shoes, school shoes that he was wearing. And he said, "You just have to take the spin off the ball." And he got up there with my 3 iron that I just smashed. And it was on the front edge. And he just chipped the 3 iron up there. Oh. And it got to the back of the green. And I looked at this Queensland kid and he looked at me and we just felt so stupid and so dumb. But it was a great lesson.
It is.
It was a wonderful, wonderful lesson that you just try to take the spin off the ball with the longer irons. Yep. It's amazing how you can do it. And we both did it after that. We both hit our 3 irons over the back of the green.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's
a wonderful
the art
lesson.
So the art of playing in the wind is into the wind, swing smoother to take the spin off, and then downwind, actually swing harder because we want to create spin to be able to control the ball. So
Correct.
Think of it in those terms. The other... So he was number 3, obviously, Mr. Peter Thompson. Number 2, also a 5-time winner of the Open Championship, Tom Watson.
Yeah.
And the reason I say this is because I got to watch him hit some shots, and he had a fascinating ball flight. He had very much what's called a knuckleball ball flight. Yeah. Very little spin on the ball, and in the links-style golf courses, that works perfectly well. Exactly what you were saying. He didn't put any spin on the ball. I remember Matty Goggin playing with him 2009, final group when Tom should have won, but
should have won 6.
Went over the back at Royal Birkdale, and I remember Matty just saying, "I can't believe this guy's ball flight. He just hits it high. The wind doesn't affect it. The ball affects mine, but not Tom's." So,
have you seen his swing in slow-mo? It's like
so
he hits
long
from the top. Yeah, it was really long. And there was he didn't load. He actually hit from the top, it looks like. When you find and I wonder if that had anything to do with it. He came in so shallow.
The width and the shallowness. Yeah. Exactly.
He didn't spin the ball.
But he grew up in Kansas City, so he must have learned it there because that's a very windy part of the US. Number 1, it's hard to ever go past this guy in any number 1s. It's Tiger Woods, of course. I mean, I remember he won the Open at 2000 at St Andrews and also 2005 and amongst other British Opens and other windy conditions. The way he's able to control the trajectory, the flight, it is something to behold. And if you watched him at the 2019 President's Cup at Royal Melbourne across the road, it was an absolute clinic and masterclass. So you just can't go past that guy.
What about the Pebble Beach Open? He won by 13 shots. Beat Els and Jimenez. They were tied second. He was the only one on the par at 13 or 14 on the par.
It was crazy.
It was insane.
He might have won by 15 or something. I can't remember what it was.
It was just insane.
Anyway, there's my top 5.
Very, very good. It's time for this week's masterclass. I'm a champion! Now, we started off the program talking about Winnie Ding and Jasper Stubbs hitting the great big left shots. Now, I'm prone to left shots, but because I've been putting in the hard yards for the Gorilla Ladders Box Hill Pro-Am and because I'm going to shoot a very low score there, I had to get rid of my double cross.
Okay.
My double cross has been annoying.
It's never good.
So I went to Steve Mann. I said, "Stevie, what am I doing?"
Banny, he's great.
Right? So Banny told me that I have to feel like my hips are open at impact. So for some reason, when I was a kid, everyone wanted square hips. You had to be square. But that's not the go. The go is that when your shoulders turn back, they turn more than your hips. And when the hips go, you want to keep that difference of turn all the way into the ball.
So shoulders more square, hips open.
Shoulders square, hips open at impact. And ever since I've been doing that, my little fade's come back. So watch out. Box Hill Golf Club. What is the course record there? Because I'm serious. I've got the ball on a string. But if you've got a double cross, I promise you, try and hit a few golf shots with the feeling that your hips are screaming open at impact.
I wonder if, at your setup there, if you could sort of, as you're addressing the ball, push your hips open. There's a little bit of a preset thing. I think that might be an interesting drill to try as well.
The rehearsal. A mini rehearsal.
Indeed.
That might be a good one for you double crossers or flippers.
Yes.
The big flippers, I almost guarantee that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Or when you steer a shot. You desperately want it to go straight, so you stop turning through. Your hips stop turning.
Yep. Where did we see that? A couple of weeks ago at the tournament?
At the WA PGA.
No, it was the WebEx Players Series, South Australia. Series. Andrew Campbell.
Campbell. That's
Strong
exactly
grip, and he needs to turn through it.
Had to keep turning through. Anyway, just to finish the story, when I used to always video my golf swing, my foot would stop. So this is where I got it from. This is why I knew what was going on.
Yes.
My foot would stop.
Your right foot.
My right foot would not just keep going up. And it was because of the hips. And the second I started trying to have open hips at impact, get on the video, the foot doesn't stop anymore. It just keeps on going.
Love it.
So it's worked for me. Hopefully it works for you.
You know what? That's a good lesson. Even the pros need to go see their PGA local professional.
Yes, they do. Hey, the other thing, I went to the Golf Clearance Outlet this morning.
Okay.
And
which one?
I went to the one in Oakley, but they are all over Australia. Just Google the Golf Clearance Outlet, and Sam Colosimo, who is the owner, said, come over here and have a look at our own gloves. They've got Cabretta leather gloves for $13.
Really?
3 for $39.
Leather gloves.
They're as good as anything I've put on my hand.
Wow.
So there is no longer an excuse to be playing with a dirty old glove. Go down to the Golf Clearance Outlet and get happy, because the gloves are sensational.
Well, I look forward to seeing you Friday, Box Hill, with that brand new leather glove on.
I'll bring the trophy. I'll bring the trophy next week. We'll drink out of the cup.
We will have to have a celebratory drink.
See you next week.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks for listening to Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen's podcast, Talk Birdie To Me. And if you're looking for some new gear, Ping is absolute top class. Ping help you play your best. Contact your local golf shop or professional and they'll sort you out. And the Golf Clearance Outlet, who beat everyone's prices. They're in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth, and online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. Got a favour to ask? Wherever you listen, if you get a chance to rate and review the pod, that would be fantastic. And if you subscribe, you'll never miss an episode. Talk Birdie To Me's executive producer is Dan Bradley at Kaizen Media, and sound design is by Daryl Misson at loudzebra.com.